I
Why, are
said,
we going to change it?
well, I said 3-0 to Hamsters and Hares.
Uh-huh.
I could see Unitas grabbing one win though.
Oh wow! What here? Want to change that? Just one win?
You disagree, Supatis? Did you
I think Unitas are gonna win 3-1.
I'm with Unitas.
Oh, okay.
I think Unitas 3-0.
What 3-0? Okay, bold prediction.
Just to make things even, Ezekiel, I'll go with you on the Hamsters and Hares win. So that's 2 for Hamsters and Hares, 2 for Unitas. But game number 1 has started.
Getting a little bit bolder with my predictions, Mr. Zico. Stun over onto Aiden right now. Valito going to be taking a little bit of burst. Let's see how Unitas decides to open up. Big combustion by Floormat, but it gets spell stolen off by CMD. A good response. Aiden playing that assassination rogue is going to be able to put a lot of consistent damage. If he has uptime on a target, is going to be absolutely horrifying for Hamsters and Hares. Aiden potentially looking for a Vanish Sap. Zach shuts that down by getting himself in combat. Big kidney shot with a smoke bomb. Looks like Valito will trade out the trinket to free himself from that. Aiden needs to be very careful. Big damage on him. There's a huge hit from Valito. This Elemental Shaman certainly knows how to pack a punch.
Yeah, we saw Valito actually yesterday probably do the biggest delete that we've seen so far in AWC, and he might be doing it again here. Aiden and Lightning Lasso. Big trouble for him. He's going to trinket and use the Shadow Mount there, I believe. Now he's trying to set up another setup here. Kidney shot on the Valito. Mind Games connect. Zach, what are you going to do? He's throwing out a couple of heals here. Valito looks like he's going to be completely fine in this situation here as he keeps dragging Aiden further and further away here from Oxygen. But Oxygen's mana bar is looking quite healthy so far. CMD gets dispelled out of the polymorph. Oxygen goes for the stun onto Zach. Can they find a sheep there at the back end of it? Doesn't look like it just yet. CMD should be able to find it right now if he wants to swap it. There it is. Full sheep secured. Aiden gets the restuff. Shadow Step. Kick. Garrote. Here's the kidney shot. If he wants to, you can drop a... Actually, no. Smoke bombs on cooldown here. Nice polymorph to CMD by Floormat there, dispelling the combustion, but they still get the trinket and the sacrifice there. So still Unitas looking great.
Big hit of damage. Oh, they triggered the Guardian. That means it's going to be a 3-minute cooldown. Holy Priests are opting for a talent that if their Guardian Angel doesn't trigger, it's a 1-minute cooldown. But because they actually killed Aiden and procced it, it's 3 times the cooldown. That is going to be very stressful for Aiden, especially considering they were so close to just winning on pressure. They've got Cloak of Shadows, no trinkets. They're trying to get aggressive, and they've got Vendetta coming up. Combustion pretty up soon as well. Can they get some crowd control? There's a kidney shot. They Thunderstorm Aiden. They use a Blessing of Protection a bit prematurely right before the Vendetta. Aiden could win this game, easily win this game. Oxygen needs to keep Aiden aggressive. This is going to be over. There's no Avenging Wrath. They just need to keep Aiden alive a little bit longer. One charge of Serenity. Can they do it a little bit longer? Just a little bit. Cloak of Shadows on 10%. Now Vendetta is available. Aiden just needs to go for the kidney shot. Vendetta, I think it should be unhealable if Zach doesn't get Avenging Wrath. But Zach's Avenging Wrath is actually coming out in 3 seconds. Where's the kidney shot from Aiden? He's in a Frost Nova. CMD's in a Hex, and Hamsters and Hares, they're stalling quite effectively. Here comes the Shadow Step. Where's the Vendetta? There's no Blessing of Protection. They're holding on to it, baiting a cooldown. They bait the Avenging Wrath. Aiden wants to go for the perfect play, but he gets absolutely eradicated. They're waiting too long, and Hamsters and Hares got it all along.
This is what I get for trying to be a little bit bolder with my predictions. Hamsters and Hares. I mean, that was a pretty close game. A lot of damage. I'm actually surprised how much damage Valito was able to put out during these setups. Aiden definitely punished quite a bit in these games. If you look, I believe the Oxygen was almost completely tapped. This might be because he left the game, but I'm curious to see what Oxygen's mana look like. I think you kind of mentioned it throughout the game, though, Sid. Once you proc that Guardian Spirit, it is super difficult as the Holy Priest. That cooldown just becomes so long, you no longer have that safety net. And I think at that point, they kind of just fell behind in terms of healing quite a bit.
So here, this is, in my opinion, one of the biggest moments in the game here. So Aiden barely survives here. He gets dispelled on the Hammer of Justice. That right there, he gets dispelled, and he's spamming his cloak. He gets it off. Everything is fine and dandy. And here, Oxygen goes for the fear. Valito needs to be in a kidney shot when this fear happens right there. He gets the tremor totem off because he's not in a kidney shot right there. And I mean, that would have still probably been his trinket, but at least it would have given them some pressure. Here, CMD pops his combustion. Look at that. Floormat steals it and then just kills Aiden with it. So definitely Oxygen there as well. You can see his mana was half. Oxygen was going aggressive there, but they didn't get any pressure off of it because they didn't coordinate the fear with the kidney shot. That's one thing. The other thing is I think CMD popped his combustion when he didn't have kleptomania, which means Floormat can just steal it and do whatever he wants. He's basically like having 2 combustions if you're Floormat there. So definitely a good punish there from Floormat. And also Valido doing a lot of damage and also super fast with that Tremor Totem there.
Okay, well, we're seeing draft process start up right now. Ashmane's Fall going to a pretty big map here with Unitas choosing that one. Hamsters and Hares already up 1-0. It's not really often that we see Unitas switching off of this composition. It's kind of been what they've been playing most often here then. So, if they do go with this one again, given that we're going to Ashmane's Fall, what do we want to see differently maybe from game 1 to game 2? I mean, how can they try and get potentially an edge here over Hamsters and Hares?
I think it's extremely likely we see Unitas going to play the exact same composition, and they will. So they're going to be going with the Holy Priest, Assassination Rogue, Fire Mage once again. And I think it just comes down to a little bit cleaner setups. Zico kind of mentioned it. When you go for a fear, you have to have the Shaman in crowd control with a kidney shot, so we can't just immediately tremor it. And a lot of that is just you get a lot of momentum off of plays like that. And if you aren't clean with your crowd control, it is likely Hamsters and Hares are going to be able to shut you down. So you need triple cross crowd control, or at least double isolate Valido from Zach. And if CMD can also get crowd control on Floormat at the same time, that's going to be best case scenario. But yeah, pretty much just a little bit cleaner with their setups, keep up the aggression on Valido, and I think they definitely have a fair shot in this one.
Yeah, I think they certainly could. Unitas didn't really have the best season in the first 4 cups. They had a couple of good wins here, and they also weren't able to secure one yesterday on Saturday as well. But these guys, incredibly talented as individuals here. You've got Oxygen on that Holy Priest, which isn't something that we're seeing a lot of healers run, but it's something that these guys are sticking with and that they've been able to implement well in the past. So maybe heading into game number 2, they're able to tie this one up. Best of 5 as well, so they certainly have plenty more chances to do so, and we're going to see them potentially pull it off here. Game number 2, Ashmane's Fall. Unitas looking to tie this one up. Zico.
Yeah, Unitas. I mean, this is a matchup-wise. This is something that they can definitely work with. They have a lot of juicy targets here. They can take down the mage. You can take down the elemental shaman. Most likely, we're going to see Unitas look to do setups here onto Valido once again. Valido here spawning his earthen elemental right away, and that's because he can use that earthen elemental to give himself a damage reduction buff while he is in a stun. Whereas Astral Shift, he would have to trinket to trade out the Astral Shift, and that's exactly the win conditions of the Rogue Mage Priest. They want to be forcing out those trinkets as soon as possible. If he trinkets, uses his Astral Shift, well, guess what? They can drop a smoke bomb on him, take him down in a smoke bomb, for example. It just sets up the RMP nicely here. They're going to get a Ring of Frost onto Zach. They're going after Floormat this time around. Valido could just drop a Lightning Lasso or a Grounding Totem, though, and shut that down. They're not really going to get themselves too many cooldowns. They get themselves the trinket of Floormat. He pops Combustion here onto Aiden. Big damage hit, but he gets gripped by Oxygen. And Oxygen gets counterspelled. CMD in a lot of trouble.
Oh!
CMD's just dead.
Do you regret changing your predictions, Zico?
From 3-0 to 3-1.
Yeah, you said 3-0 to 3-1, yeah.
Wait, I want to point out something before we get into that. Valido, when he gets these one-shots off, gets so excited.
Yeah.
He's just so happy. He's like, oh, it's just actually hilarious. I wish we had his reaction before that replay, but man, you were just on fire, and then you recede immediately, and that is absolutely scary. I mean, that's why it's so difficult, because if you go after the mage, you leave an elemental shaman open. If you go after the elemental shaman, you leave a mage opening. It's like 2 bad options.
I think you for sure go after the Ele Shaman, and I mean we call that the jackpot here. It's just that's just what you call that combo, and we're gonna see it exactly here. But I'm pretty sure it was a Stormkeeper comboed with a Sky Fury Totem, comboed with Echoing Shock, something like that. We're gonna see it in a little bit here. So this is a trigger from Floormat. He runs away, and he is going to be completely fine. There is CMD now in Lightning Lasso. Look at Valido here, okay? So now he's going to go ahead and load up the Stormkeeper right there. He's going to drop the Sky Fury Totem. There's the Echoing Shock. Okay, so he just did 1 Lava Burst. procced a bunch of fulminations, then did one zap with the Stormkeeper, just one lightning bolt, and that was enough to proc the seed. And then he did one more lightning bolt and killed the seed. Wait, nobody has a killing blow. I think he died to a cauterized dot tick. I think that's what actually killed.
It doesn't count as a killing blow if you do it to yourself. What?
Yeah. I mean, if the mage is burning with cauterize and you get him to 1 HP and then the cauterize kills him, then that's how the scoreboard looks.
Okay, who predicted Hamsters and Hares 3-0? Ben, was that you that predicted?
Yeah, I predicted Hamsters and Hares 3-0.
Okay, listen up here. First, you're telling me you don't like Drake and you never talked about Drake, and now you're telling me, listen, bro, you predicted 3-0 Unitas, okay? And you do like Drake.
There's no proof.
Yeah, sip your tea, Zico. Okay, well then who was okay, be honest with me. Who originally made that prediction? I need to know. Don't mess with me.
Zico did the 3-0, but he changed it. So
then he switched.
So he could still be wrong.
I felt bad.
Okay.
I said
he is wrong.
Unitas can grab a win.
I mean, I'll be real with
You did it because you felt
bad.
bad.
When we were doing our predictions, before the series, I was the same way. I was predicting Unitas to win here, but I mean, Hamsters and Hares definitely showing up to this series. Sorry, Sipties, what were you saying?
He changed his prediction out of pity. Like, what does he think? Unitas can't handle it. Like, I think they're gonna win 3-0. I feel bad about saying Unitas might win 1. Like, I mean, they could still hook point. I think they're never going to a big map ever again. At least they're not going to choose after this point. But that definitely backfired. I also don't think they're ever going to detarget the Ellie. Ellie start to finish. I really just want to see clean triple crowd control. Chastise stun, mind control 1 target, Dragon's Breath sheep 1 target, kidney shot 1 target. Just clean, do it over and over until you win. That's what I really want to see from Unitas.
You're totally right, Ben, with Valito's camera here. Even during the draft process,
so
look
happy.
at that. Like, he's such a happy man, having a good time. Not a lot of people smile during this part of the series. Lots of serious faces usually here, as you can see on the other side on Oxygen right there. But yeah, I regardless of how this one goes, it's cool to see these guys having a good time. These fast-paced matches, just like these ones that we've seen here for Game 1 and Game 2, and it is hook point. So whoever this one goes to, I feel like we may see another swift win from either side here, Zico.
Oh yeah, I mean both of these teams are playing pretty aggressively so far, and that's also kind of the nature of the matchup. If you're the Mage Ellie, you can't just focus on running. You gotta get those counter setups. As the Rogue Mage Priest, it's a lot about hit and run, but for the Mage Ellie, before the Rogue Mage Priest gets away, after they've done their hit, you want to try to net yourself something, get a little bit of pressure, do a swap to the healer, do a swap to the rogue, anything, get yourself a Cloak of Shadows, just any cooldown you can grab while the Rogue Mage are making their exit. That's your opportunity there, because otherwise, if you're too passive, then slowly but surely you're just going to end up losing the game. But this is Unitas on match point here. What are they going to do? There's a sheep shot. They are going to go after CMD, after floor mat here. Once again, nice Dragon's Breath there by CMD onto floor mat. Nice Kleptomania coming out there as well. CMD here doing a lot of work, trying to go for the resheep. There's the blind onto Zach. That's going to be the trinket, but no sacrifice. Big hit there onto Aiden. He's going to trinket. He's going to Cloak of Shadows. He's going to vanish. And that's exactly what we're talking about. The hit happened, and then they were trying to do the run. Well, guess what? Aiden almost went down.
Oh, and now they're swapping to Oxygen. They get the Guardian Spirit. This is not a good position to be in as Unitas. I do wonder where they decide to go. They're caught in triple crowd control. A dangerous moment. Oxygen trinkets trying to stabilize the team here through the pressure with that Holy Word Sanctify. Big heals coming in onto Aiden. Zach and a Polymorph, an opportunity to turn this around, but floor mat's on the run. Aiden can't move. He's stuck in a Frost Nova. Oxygen's trying to fish for Mind Games, bait a Grounding Totem. He actually does manage to bait the Grounding Totem, but there's no crowd control now. They just stun floor mat. They're going to bop floor mat to get aggressive. They know they can just play right on top of Unitas. They've got nothing but confidence. They've got all the cooldowns. Aiden's on the run, trying to line a sight. CMD pre-alter timing in case he's the target here as Lava Bursts are lobbed out. Lightning Lasso for follow-up. Aiden Shadow steps in, kicks the Lightning Lasso, trying to get back onto floor mat, but it's taking a lot of damage in return. CMD follows up with a Polymorph. Mind Games connects here onto floor mat. That's going to absorb the Cauterize, and they actually get an Ice Block. Unitas looking like they may be able to make Zico's prediction a reality.
Let's hope.
Hey, they could win it, okay? Don't count them out just yet. Unitas, they could strike back. Right now, they get the ice block out of the way. Pressure has been great for them so far. That being said, at the same time, Hamsters and Hares, they're just such a threat, and Aiden has no defensive cooldown, so he needs to be very careful. Good peels coming in from CMD, just spamming out the polymorphs, trying to just slow down Valido a little bit, allowing Aiden to potentially go for restealth. I think he did it, so in stealth right now. Now we can look to set up once again. Mana, however, in favor of Hamsters and Hares, so Unitas a bit on a clock for the time being. He still has a decent amount of mana, Oxygen does. But as this game goes on, if Floormat and Valido can keep putting out pressure on a CMD and Aiden, he's going to be burning through that mana really, really quickly. So definitely something to look out for. Zach might even want to go for a drink. The main threat is Aiden in stealth might be able to just sap him. So have to be very careful of that. Zach trying to keep himself in combat. You can see Aiden just waiting. Just get out of combat for 1 second. I will get that sap. He just goes for the blind Garrote now onto Floormat. What is Zach going to do? Is he going to Trinket? He does. Trinket sacrifice onto Floormat, shutting down that go. But that was a very patient play from Unitas, and they get some major objectives out of the way.
Yeah, and Aiden is going to have that vendetta to work with here, so very important thing. Actually, wait a second here. CMD might be getting blasted here. Could be his ice block here. He gets caught up in a Hammer of Justice. Nice. I do believe that was an alter time. I'm not sure. Valido's still zapping away, though. Big damage there from Valido on that Elemental Shaman. He's been doing a great job so far, but I think the biggest important thing right now for the RMP is get a sheep here onto Zach. If they can get that and combo a Vendetta here onto Floormat, that could be enough here to force out the Divine Shield and the Blessing of Protection. Let's see. They're going for it. No Vendetta being pushed just yet here. Floormat dropping a little bit low here, but Zach's just going to activate his Avenging Wrath, and that's going to be it. They're not going to force anything more. I would have loved to see something like CMD trying to polymorph Valido and then go and swap it to Zach like he just did there, maybe with a Dragon's Breath. But now, I mean, they don't have the Kidney Shot DR onto Floormat, so they get the sheep, they get the stun when they don't have CC, and now, ooh, Smoke Bomb though. This has got to be an ice block for sure. Actually, he doesn't have ice block. That could be a Cauterize. Floormat actually going to be able to blink out there and survive no problems. Yeah, that was also the Vendetta of Aiden. So all of the pressure that they had with their damage cooldowns, that pressure is just gone, and now Aiden's going to have to be on the run. This could be a Cloak of Shadows. He needs to be careful. If he gets in the line of sight of Valido, we know what can happen here. He has his cloak. He can't read it too much. Might need to activate it right there. He tries to trade the feint only, but immediately regrets that. Trades out the Cloak of Shadows, and they overlap it as well with Oxygen's Guardian. So not a great situation here for Unitas and for my prediction.
Which just means that Hamsters and Hares get to build up more and more momentum and burn down the mana. Oxygen caught in a Lightning Lasso, a little bit of a swap to the healer. Really trying to put the pressure, push the pace. Big damage on Oxygen on match point. Wrapping around the corner, blind, stun, triple crowd control. I love this setup right now from Unitas, and they might just get it. They get the Cauterize through the sacrifice. Zach is not running ultimate sacrifice. Big power play by Unitas. Just keep it clean and just keep it simple, and they can actually pull off a victory here despite being behind. 15 seconds to that ice block. Can they manage to push for it? I don't think so. The kill window is starting to slip away. They do have at least mana even between the teams here. And Valido is chasing Oxygen, stunning him up out in midfield, looking for another swap of the Holy Priest. Big Meteor connecting to Lightning Lasso. Dragon's Breath onto the Rogue. Lightning Lasso for one more second. Oxygen banking out a big heal. Now Floormat having it turned around onto him. Oxygen pushing forward. Polymorph onto Zach. Divine Shield Force. Divine Favor. Avenging Wrath comes up in 3 seconds. Can they wait for it? Can they afford to? But at the same time, Aiden limited on defense here from that overlap earlier on. Is he going to be able to survive? CMD stunned up. Getting dispelled. Alter timing, trying to stay aggressive, trying to stay on target. Slight mana advantage. Big holy fire damage coming in from Oxygen on the Floormat. Oxygen sneaks up on Zach, stunning Zach. Mind games, big damage. He's going to prop that Triune Ward, try and stay alive. Big heals come out from Zach with the Avenging Wrath. Dragon's Breath breaking Floormat, now going for crowd control. Polymorph around the corner. They've isolated Aiden. 6 seconds away from his Cloak of Shadows. 5 seconds away from his Cloak of Shadows. 3 seconds away. 2 seconds, and it looks like he's going to be able to make it to it. He goes for a Vanish around the corner, chasing Floormat, trying to push for the kill. Vendetta available. Is he going to pull the trigger on it here? Now with Ice Block and Blessing of Protection, he needs to be careful and precisely time it when a Blessing of Protection can't simply counter it. But they also just need damage right now to keep momentum in their favor. They've actually ran the Paladin out of mana. They've got Cloak. They've got Combustion. Unitas are in a good position.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, CMD right now is in a hex. Hamsters and Hares really just trying to get control of the situation. But if you look, Zach, his mana is not looking good. Floor mat getting bursted down. Could this be the ice block? Early Blessing of Protection going to be negating a lot of that incoming damage, but that was not the Vendetta. So there is a huge hit of damage available here for Aiden. He's got the Cloak of Shadows. They could make a push. There's a Guardian Spirit from Oxygen who is zero mana. Is no mana whatsoever. They need to make something happen with this Vendetta, but at the end of it all, Floormat, he could just trade out the Ice Block. Sacrifice trades from Zach. Aiden getting increasingly low. He's got Vanish. He might need to trade it. He's just so low health. Cloak of Shadows phase. Big Meteor. What is Aiden going to do? He vanishes out. Oxygen recovers a little bit of his mana, but still such a tense situation here. Now Aiden, he can't really afford to just sit there and trade. He's going to be a target dummy. CMD at the same time getting bursted down. Oxygen using the last little bit of his healing. Can they get a setup? Unitas, they're still going for it. Kidney Shot, beautiful Ring of Frost, triple crowd control with the mind control. Can they get the ice block? It would be so big for their team. A big Dragon's Breath from Floormat. Denies. CMD interrupts the Polymorph. Smoke Bomb drops down with the Dragon's Breath. Floormat forced to trade the ice block. Unitas puts himself back in the game, but still, this is really tense.
I would have actually liked to see them just go after Verlito at this point. Zach is completely ruined, but look at Oxygen, able to recover a little bit of that precious mana. Takes a massive chunk of damage, but he does respond with the Fade, with the Battle Masters, and there is the Guardian Spirit right now. Big damage coming in here onto Aiden, but I think Oxygen has the mana that he needs to be able to fend off that attack. Zach here has his wings active right now. Last Blessing of Protection, and also last bit of mana has been expended there from Zach. Floormat needs to make something happen here with this Dragon's Breath. Can he land the sheep? He's trying to get distance here. Stormkeeper is loaded up and ready to go for the Lido. We all know what can happen. They're trying to go after Oxygen potentially. Aiden gets taken out of stealth. There's the sheep turn onto the Lido. Aiden looking to make his way back to Floormat here. One kidney shot here onto Floormat could be what decides the game. Look at Zach sitting up for another drink here, but he does get stopped. He did get a little bit of mana though. Still, both of these healers just sitting down at any moment they can just to find a little bit of mana. CMD gets stunned behind the pillar. He has his ice block. He has his Vendetta. He has his combustion here. He just got clipped then. He's a seed.
That's it. Seed. There's no cauterize. Be very careful at this point in the game. The burst damage from the Elemental Shaman and that Fire Mage is massive. They're going for it though. Zach trades out the Divine Shield and the Sacrifice. I mean, that was really close. I wonder if they actually potentially could have taken him down. Hamsters and Hares, though, more than likely going to be winning that one. 3-0 for them over Unitas, and they get the first point of this round robin. Unitas, unfortunately, down 0-2 right now, and they're going to have to look to strike back in their upcoming series.
Yeah, things not really looking good for them on the side of Unitas so far in the first weekend here of the circuit, and they certainly are. Ven, you're definitely right. They're going to be looking to hopefully get some points into next weekend, but we can see how game number 3 broke down right here, Sid.
Yeah, and I mean, look at this. They were actually ahead. They have an ice block. That's their major defensive cooldown. But without Cauterize, that red icon with 4-minute that triggers on death to save you, CMD has to block before he dies. And he just takes so much damage that he outright dies. So he's the target at the moment. He's behind the pillar. He's half health. He's all alone. No Cauterize. He thinks Triune Ward is safe, but Sky Fury Totem is down. He gets kleptoed on his shields and potted immediately. So I don't know if he just felt safe with the Triune Ward activated, so he thought he could chill, but he really actually needed to chill in the ice block. And if he had, I mean, it was so close. Right here, they get Divine Shield and Sacrifice even after the cross kill moment. So yeah, it's a little bit heartbreaking for them in that moment. This was their best game easily.